to hear around what I currently do at the university, but we've also got a student joining us called Becky Donnelly today as well, who's kindly came on to get a student to actually speak about her experiences in both playing sport at uni and being involved in some coaching programs. So I'm going to kick off, and like Jack said, please pop questions in the comments box if you've got any. If we don't get a chance to cover them all at the end, mention to Jack that I can send across answers to questions later this week as well. So few questions to kind of start, a few pictures to start us off even. So just get the IT working, that'll be handy. Here we go. So who am I? So like Jack said, my name's Abbie. We are one of 10, soon to be 10, 8 at the moment, soon to be 10 FA women's high performance football centres in the country. So there is another 7 of me currently operating out of other universities across the country. And my role is the coach development officer. So I don't deliver lectures. I'm there to support students to get into different opportunities, whether that is placement opportunities, a bit of one-to-one mentoring. If we've got coaching scholarships, I work with the coaches on there. I work a lot with the women's football team and work a little bit with the coaches who work with the men's football teams. So all in all, my role is there to try and help students get better at coaching or give them the experiences to go out into the community, out into whether that be grassroots professional clubs to get kind of that experience. I've been in the role for over 4 years now. And it's an FA funded role, so part of my role is to work away from the university to support coaches in the female game. So I'm not going to go into that side of the role too much today. I'm going to concentrate on what I do here at the uni. So that's just a little bit of insight to me. This is a picture of me, because once I start putting this together and looking at how many years I've been doing some of this, it makes me feel a little bit old. But this is some of the experiences I've had, some of the places I've worked, some of the roles I've had. So don't worry, I'm definitely not going to go through all of these today. I'm going to go through some of the ones which I believe helped me and gave me the foundations to pass on to the current students I work with. So some of these badges, some of these logos, some of these job titles look very fancy, but ultimately lots of work was done before I got into some of the roles I'm currently in right now. And that's what I'm going to touch upon for the first kind of 5 minutes is I learned through experiences and people. So I spent lots of time. I left college and I went over to America and did like your Camp America, play soccer. And it was just, I came back and I was doing lots of volunteering. And sometimes now students, young children, young adults, as you all are on the call, is we think we need to get that next qualification. We need to get that next. Must be getting paid, and actually some of the hard work comes from just that volunteering and building up a network, which was what I done. And I got my first full-time job at Cheltenham Town Community Trust, and that was a great learning curve for me. Did I get paid much money? Absolutely not. Did I learn lots? Absolutely. And I worked different. Although football was my passion, I had to coach netball, basketball, hockey, sports I didn't know much about, but it was just about working with young people. And I got to work along some really good people. So I was there for about 18 months. And it started off with 1 after-school club a week. And it built all the way up to a full-time role. And then I went and worked for the FA, for the skills programme, which then was just football. And I worked with 5 to 11-year-olds, and I worked there for 4 years. And I got to be in part of a positive environment. I got to work alongside some really good people where I learned loads and developed lots about myself. Understood how to work with both boys, girls, children who love football, children who didn't like football. Some children didn't like physical activity, but it was how do I manage the differentiation, the behaviour management in the group. But I got to work through these 2 key environments, my first 2 environments, alongside all the volunteering and the kind of groundwork I spoke about. Got to work in different environments, different experiences, different sports, which is important, and different ages. And it just meant putting in the hours. So it did mean that I had to sacrifice some evenings, I had to sacrifice some weekends. And all of this is kind of why I wanted to share these 2 examples, because this is where I feel I can really help the students, because this is what they're currently having to go through, and I feel like I can sympathize and empathize with those students where they're studying and they're having to go out and coach in all these different experiences. They might not like this individual sport, but actually how can coaching different sports and different environments help? So yeah, that's just a little bit about me and how I feel my experiences can help the current students we have at the University of Gloucestershire. So here's just a couple of quotes. I love a good quote. So here's a couple of quotes around just being a volunteer. And this is kind of what I remind young coaches or coaches starting on their journey around, that probably the coaches I remember the most are the people who helped me. And I look back now and they were probably volunteers. They were the people who gave up their time, and people remember that. And I think if you listen to the England players now, whether that's the male or the Lionesses or it's the England men's first team, when you hear them speaking about their coaches, it's not their coach at their current club. They always go back to, from the interviews I've heard, their coaches at grassroots. So again, if you're sat on the call thinking, I'm interested, I wanna get into coaching, or you're currently into coaching, and it could be coaching, it could just be working with young people. We've got lots of opportunities at UOG, which I can go into in a minute. So I'm going to play a couple of minutes video. This just gives a bit of an insight into some of the things we've done at UOG over the last couple of years. So it includes courses, coach development events, stuff with students. So instead of listening to me, you can get a break from my voice and a little listen to this. Jack, if you can give me a thumbs up. Well, just shout if you can. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Jack. If you can give me a thumbs up, that'd be great if you can hear it. Oops. Perfect. So apologies, it wasn't a more exciting song on the back of that. But that gives you a little flavour for some of the things we've done. So obviously a key partner is the FA. That's who funds some of my role. But I have lots of relationships with the other members of staff at the FA who can come in to deliver workshops to students. You'll see there that we did a level 1 and we actually did a level 2 as well, FA level 1 and 2 on site at the campus, and we tried to tailor the hours around student lectures and courses. But we've also had students who have gone off and through some funding through the Women's High Performance Centre and at times through the SU have gone off and been part of coaching qualifications away at the kind of headquarters at Gloucestershire FA. So we work really closely with the county FA. So there's placement opportunities. We've had members of our university students be part of the FA Council, which we've helped them be part of. Becky was deservingly so, but very lucky as well to go on to the FA Women's Bucks Leadership Programme, which she's going to speak a little bit about shortly as well, which is a great programme, and I'm sure she'll be able to explain in more depth than I can. You'll see we do a number of like little CPD, so all the stuff you've seen there is away from lectures, away from courses. It's very much about just giving you the additional skills of what you learn alongside your working placement. Bristol City Women's here, and we've also got a link with the men's a little bit now through different staff moving around. So there's opportunities to go and visit the clubs. There's placement opportunities, which I'll talk about shortly as well. We could get university guests to come onto site to visit, but also taking groups of students to games. Students have had the opportunities to go and see England games, women's WSL games, and we've also got, and I'm not sure if you're going to be hearing from the member of staff or one of your other talks, but we've also got links with Southampton, and one of our lecturers have taken coach loads down to Southampton training ground to get a bit of a feel for that too. So I'm going to pause for 10 minutes before I come back on the slides and share with you some of what our placements currently look like. And I'm going to take my screen down so you can see myself in Becky's face. Hopefully you can see that. You can see me now and not my screen. Myself and Becky is going to come on the call. Brilliant. Thanks, Becky.
No worries.
So we're just going to spend 10 minutes. I thought I could come on and speak at you and tell you all this great stuff we do for the students, but there's no better way to get a student to come on and actually share some of their stories with us. If you have just joined us, if you could just pop yourself up. Brilliant. Thanks very much. Cheers. So Becky, thanks for joining us. I know that you've got a lecture today and you've managed to get yourself out of it for 45 minutes to come on and speak to us, so appreciate that. Just to kick us off, are you able to share with us what course you studied and now what you're currently studying?
Yeah, of course. So hi guys, as Abbie said, I'm Becky. I did study my undergrad degree, so the one that you study for 3 years in sport and exercise science, and now I'm doing my master's, which is just a 1-year thing for strength and conditioning coaching.
Brilliant, thanks, Becky. So strength and conditioning coaching now, but you did your 3 years in more generic kind of coaching. And I know that you spent some time in Jack's previous role when he was in the Grassroots FA Hub, and you did your FA. You're part of one of the FA courses, level 1s, which took place on campus. It'd be great for you to share with us how you found that course, but I guess most importantly, how you got the opportunity to go out with support from myself and Jack into the school, how you found that coaching in the school and what experiences that gave you.
Yeah, so I did my FA level 1 through uni. I was very lucky, and there's a real push at the moment for more female coaches within the game. And so I got it for free as well, so that's always a perk. Abbie delivered most of it with a couple of guest lecturers coming in as well. It was just an overall great experience because it was led by, like, within the uni. It meant that it not only matched around my lectures, it matched around all the football training and stuff that was going on inside uni and outside. And then once I got my level 1, Jack and Abbie gave us the opportunity to go into some primary schools and deliver some after school coaching sessions. I know a lot of my friends had an easier school than I did. I think it could be called Excitable Boys, I think was the best way to describe it. They just loved football. All they wanted to do was play. And so we just got to facilitate that, just doing lots of fun games, worked on my management of smaller kids. I'd only ever coached older ones before, so it's a different experience for me. But it really helped me to grow as a coach, and gave me short bursts. And then Jack and Abbie were always there to support as well with any challenges or anything like that. So it's really good.
Yeah, you're right. I remember the school you were in. There was about 30 boys of year 2 and 3 or 1 and 2. They were really young, and I remember they used to come charging out. And you mentioned there around that behaviour management and probably some of the skills, and I know we're going to touch on shortly around what are the key skills you've probably taken away from uni, not just from those coaching experiences, but the other experiences you face. And you mentioned then around football, playing football, so balancing doing a coaching qualification, studying, going out and doing a bit of placements in schools alongside your playing. And so Becky played in the Bucks team throughout her whole year. Now she's doing her master's. She's a bit busy with her academic studies, but I still see her face popping along to come and watch. But Becky, what did you get from playing Bucks for 3 years? I know you were part of the committee as well at some point across those 3 years. So what were the things you really, what was it you really enjoyed, and what skills do you feel you took away from being part of the football team?
So I'm sure everyone's going to cringe when I say it, but it's just like one big family, no matter what sports team you join, but especially the women's football one is all I can speak on behalf of, but I know all of my friends felt it when the other teams as well. It just felt really welcoming. As soon as you join a team at uni, you feel like you've got the foundation to go on. Because obviously when you go to uni, you are away from home, even if it's half an hour down the road. For me, it was nearly 4 hours, so I'm from Essex. So it was a long way away, and it was a scary experience. Like, there's no hiding it. Going to uni is a bit scary, but they gave you the foundation to really just grow and develop. The uni lot were really supportive of the uni football team. Were really supportive of me doing my coaching stuff. They gave you little chances within as well. So Abbie coached us for the first year fully, and then in and out coaching our coaches as well. And they always gave us points where we could see where our coaching journey could take us as well. So if we wanted to take a bit of the session, we could have. And it really just gave me a good leadership opportunity. So in my second year, I became the first team captain. Just to brag, we were unbeaten in the league, would have got promoted, but then COVID came. So that was just really good. That was my first time captaining at a full adult side. I'd done it at a younger one, but it just gave you the opportunity to lead from the front, not only take control of what you were doing, but making sure that everyone else followed the stuff that you want to see within the club. And just as part of the committee, we got to shape what everyone else's experience would be. So we got to make sure that everyone got the support. Everyone knew where to find support when times were a bit harder, but also just to make sure that everyone has the best experience. So it's a lot of fun and a lot of social nights out, which were both sober and not sober, and that's just a great experience within uni. And like I said, it's just one big family. Like, no matter what, you've always got someone there to give you a hand or just be there with you throughout everything.
Brilliant, thanks Becky. And can you just share, Bex, with everyone on the call all the different roles somebody could take on as being part of a committee? And this would be the same whether you were part of the women's football club, men's football club, hockey, whatever club it is. All of these roles exist in all of the clubs, and they're all ran by students. They're all so can you just give us a lowdown of which ones they are?
So we've got obviously coaches, which can be students but sometimes can be non-students, and then the committee itself is just who runs the whole club. So like Abbie said, all of the clubs have them. So you've got a club captain. In other unis, they're called club presidents. So they are the top boss. They are the leader. Then you've got a vice captain, a club vice captain that is, who just assists them, make sure that everything runs smoothly, puts in new ideas, talks to our student union, who are the ones that control all of the Bucks teams. Then you've got social secretaries, which make sure that you have a great time in your social life. So on Wednesdays is a student night out, so they always organise your Wednesday night social, so different themes, so you dress as very random things, which are great fun, but also organise sober socials. So we went mini golfing, we went dry sloping skiing thing, which we've got in Gloucester, which was really fun. Then you've got first team captain, second team captain, a futsal captain, because we've got a futsal team here as well, which we're really lucky to have. Then you've got a welfare officer, so ones that just check in. They get a lot of support from the SU with extra training now, which is really cool. And then you've got a fundraising officer as well. So every team has to fundraise for a charity. We always fundraise for at least two. So we always organise a five-a-side tournament. That's our religious one that we follow each year. That supports Mind. So that's really good to support the mental health stuff. And I believe that's it. I'm sure one of my friends is going to get really annoyed if I've forgotten their committee role there.
No, that's brilliant. And I think it just shows, and the reason I wanted Becky to show that is, yes, there's opportunities to come in, there's opportunities to coach, there's opportunities to go and coaching qualifications. You might be sat there and think, yeah, okay, but I'm not necessarily into coaching, or I'm not into actually playing the sport, but I really enjoy media or journalism or organising social and events. Or actually, I'd like to all be part, like, of overseeing, like Beck said, are the captain, the president, who at times they've been in the first team and they play religiously week in, week out. The one for the women's team at the moment plays in the seconds, drops in and out, but actually her role is to make sure everything's ticking along. Or it's that care around, it's that welfare. So there's something for everyone, and to talk about life skills and to put that on your CV to say you were part of a committee on a university program is a quite a big thing to do. And I've seen, having been here for 4 years, Becky in her first year, for Becky coming out and graduating last year, to actually seeing a real big change, and not just with Becky but the other girls, and part of it is from all these experiences they face. So Becky, last question from me for now. The FA Women's Bucks Leadership Programme, I probably didn't do enough justice on that presentation now. Are you able just to give a bit of insight into how you got on it, what it involved, and then what you took away?
Yeah, of course. So I was on it in its second year of running. So it's a fairly new programme, still is. And it's led by both the FA and Bucks. So Bucks obviously being the organising body for university sport. And they came together and gave a lot of funding for us, which is really cool, to a small group of people, just to develop our leadership skills, so to develop future leaders within and around football. Because obviously we know that football is a male-dominated sport, not only within the playing structure, but also within the coaching and the leadership structure. So it's really cool for that. How did I get onto it? Abbie saw it. Abbie pushed me to go and apply to it. I'm not going to lie, I didn't want to apply for it at the time. I didn't enjoy coaching. I didn't enjoy something like this. I felt nervous every time that I'd have to speak in front of more than 5 of my mates. So overall, didn't sound like the thing for me. But with the backing of Abbie, she did show me that how great it could be, and what's the worst if you apply to something you don't get it, and the best you do get it. So why not just go for it? I had to apply through a little video interview, and then I was really, really lucky, and I'm really grateful to have got onto it. Throughout the programme, we had 3 residentials. So not only did Abbie then support me as my external link, but within it, I had a coach, a leadership mentor within it as well. And it was just a great experience to be with other girls, women that were following the same journey as me, which sounds really cringy, I'm aware. But to see how other people were already really confident and were just trying to develop their communication skills, or people that were less confident and just wanted to be able to present like this. I got a lot of cool tasks to do, a lot of weird ones. Just one day we had to make a boat out of like rubber gloves and some string, and it's just weird stuff like that that just makes you develop coaching and like communication skills, because those are the things that stick with you. And so much networking. So I met Baroness Sue Campbell, which some of you might know of, some of you might not, but she's the head of all women's football basically in the country, and has helped grow the game even more. And there are about 15 of us on the course, so it's a really, like, they like to use the word prestigious group of us. And then the cohort that was before us have all gone on to like leadership roles within every county FA. There's people that you mentioned before on like the FA like committee and stuff like that. So overall, just a really cool experience, and just looks amazing on my CV, and just developed me as a leader even further.
Thanks, Bex. And I wasn't asking to try and get, oh, Abbie, this and that. The main reason I asked around how you got on is because I know you had to do that video, and I just kind of wanted to go back to 18 months ago, probably, when you had to do that video, to now you're on this call, and I asked you, like, yeah, I'll jump on there, to now having to, so just the growth in having to put a video together, to go, oh God, I don't know what to do with this video, to now going, yeah, I'll jump on and just talk, you know. I just think it just shows how much you developed through your time. But again, it just shows, I feel that another reason why Becky got onto it is because we're a women's high performance centre, so they know that there's a member of staff there solely to support students, which is myself at our university alongside other lecturers and members of staff. But we tried to replicate some of the stuff which Becky did on course outwardly. So if you're a male sat on there going, that's great, but I'm a male and this is a women's leadership program, we're still here to develop male students who want to go on to similar roles, but that just might be for a different avenue. So I'm going to share some of that now. So thanks, Bex. If anyone got any questions, I'm just going to spend 5 minutes just to share some of the other opportunities, whether you're male, female, into coaching, into more leadership stuff, with everybody. But if anyone else has got any questions, feel free to pop in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself shortly. Just the last 5 minutes from me, really. So I'm going to reshare my screen again. So here's a few more kind of quotes. I'm happy to share these slides at the end with Jack anyway. So I won't leave on to here too long, but again, it's just some stuff around. You've got Dean at the top here, who was part of the men's Bucks team, and then came across into a little bit in the women's towards the end. He's now gone on to do a master's somewhere else, where he can get some more development through the female game as well. So here's just some kind of opportunities. So again, we've got students currently in grassroots clubs. We've had in the past lots of students going into schools delivery, whether that's secondary or primary, or bringing them on site. So coming up very soon, we've got schools coming onto the campus at the uni for students to work with. Like Rebecca said, that we've got students who coach our Bucks teams, where we get them. That could be male or female. That could be across sports, not just football. But I work predominantly with the football coaches. Multidisciplinary team. So we've got in professional clubs, we've got sports analysis, strength and conditioning, physiotherapy, and then obviously coach support. So they might be shadowing, it might be part of a master's course, it might be part of a third year placement. Through the Women's High Performance Centre, there's opportunities to go in the talent pathway and shadow a qualified coach who working with kind of our more elite players in the female game. And then we run a goalkeeping centre, which we've currently got students at the moment who come in once a week and work with goalkeepers. And then again, just some of the CPD opportunities. There's mentoring, whether that's off the pitch with a coffee, having a chat around, I've got this group of players, or I've got this individual really struggling, or I've got this mix of players. A bit like Rebecca said when she was at the school and we sat down and go, what are we going to do with these 30 boys? How are we going to try and manage them a little bit better? We started during lockdown and previous to lockdown our monthly drop-in coffee club, where it's just, let's just catch up on what's going on, bring some biscuits along and just grab some tea and coffee and chat around coaching. Opportunity to visit clubs and some coaching workshops to complement your degree. So some of that was seen in that video, but again, they're just a snapshot of some of the stuff you can get. And then these are just kind of some of the, again, just to build upon the stuff we spoke before, really, from a coaching point of view. They would be my top tips, I guess. If you decide to go to university, in this university, but even if you don't, and you're interested in coaching and working with young children, young adults, get out and experience different environments. Even if you know football is the one you want to do, go and experience other sports. If you know you want to work with under 10s, go and work with adults as well. Adults go and work with under 10s, just to get a real flavour. I've put here a number of different placement opportunities. Yes, at university, but try and source them if you don't decide. Get your hands dirty. It's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be enjoyable at times, but it's where you learn when you go out your comfort zone. I've put there around values, and you may not even know your values or even explored them and all really know what they mean. But the more you coach and come into it, understanding what they are, and we do some work around that at university as well, will really help you understand where you want to go to. So, a network, like Rebecca said, she's networked with lots of people now, and hopefully they'll be friends for life. So here's just a few pictures, a few screenshots and snapshots of some of the stuff we've done, some of the videos. You see during the beginning of COVID, when it was nice and sunny, we still need some of our learning. That's some of our Bucks coaches on there now. So we spoke lots about females at times, but you'll see we're still doing loads of work with our male coaches and male students. So that's me, really. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I just want to leave kind of 5 to 10 minutes at the end for any questions we may have, Jack.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much, Abbie and Rebecca. Really good stuff there. Really insightful. As Abbie said, please do now, whether it's in a group that you've all booked on together, chuck some questions forward to the teacher, whoever's in charge of the laptop or computer, or individually, if you're on your own, do ask some questions. But if I can, if Becky's still there, I'll start us off and ask a question directly to the student, if that's okay. Obviously, you mentioned right at the start of the talk, going to university, quite a daunting thing. Some of the students in this call might still be debating if university is a choice for them. And I think we've given today a great example why it can be if they're interested in this area. What was your kind of final decision to go to university? Why did you make that choice?
So I always knew I wanted to go to uni. I can't lie. That one wasn't a tough decision. Choosing which uni to go to was quite hard. I knew that I wanted to get away from home, not in I hate home, but I want to grow. And I know that being away does that to you. Being out of your comfort zone is where the best experiences happen, I think. And so just coming to a prospective day here, meeting a lot of people like you guys, meeting a lot of students, and they just seemed so happy. And it's a smaller uni, but it gives such a community feel throughout, and that just really sold it for me.
So you touched on it there, the prospective days. What would you advise a student to do if they really are unsure? If university, yes, is their choice, but they've got 6 or 7 unis they like the look of, what would you suggest to really hone down on 1 or 2 that they could go to?
So obviously we've got the online tours on the website, because I know sometimes with COVID and stuff you can't get around, but just come and visit, like look around. There's always extra prospective days. I think there's prospective days until basically you come here, and if there's not, just come to Gloucester, have a look around the city. It's very pretty, and just come and look around the campus. Like there's so much to offer here. We have state-of-the-art business school, brilliant facilities within the sporting development. For you're in the science stuff, the labs are brilliant. I can't speak for the other campuses, but there's like 5 in Cheltenham that all look really pretty. And yeah, just come and have a look.
And I guess for your journey then, going through, you sort of finish university in some ways because you're now doing your master's degree. What key things have you taken from those first 3 years on your undergrad? What like key 2 or 3 skills or experiences have you taken from that and sort of helped you grow?
So one that I just mentioned, step out of your comfort zone. On my boxing, they called it a stretch zone. So where you don't feel quite comfortable, but you know that you can develop yourself here. So do that. Surround yourself with people that you know are not only going to support you, but are going to push you to be the best version of yourself. And then the other one would just be like, just talk to people, like make as many different friends. Like none of them are really the learnings from uni. I think, yeah, you get the degree, but so much more than that. It's more about becoming a bigger and better person while you're here, and just talk to everyone, become a leader within your own life, and just go from there.
That's perfect, thank you. And the last one I have, so when I ask this question, I'm urging you guys on the call, do chuck any questions in. We've got about sort of 5 minutes left, so plenty of time to ask a question. In terms of the Women's High Performance Centre, so it could be Abbie, Becky, a mix of both. If any student's really, really keen to work in a professional environment, is that something that the Women's High Performance Centre can help with or lean towards?
Yeah, definitely. So my role away from the university is very much to work with coaches with everyone's got potential. So coaches with real intent to say, do you know what, I want to, exactly what you said, Jack, I want to be an England coach. I want to be a first team manager at this club or this club, or I want to get on this qualification. My role is away from here is to really support those. So it's less about grassroots coaches. It's more about coaches on the talent pathway. So the opportunities for students to get into those environments is really easy, because I'm in there when I'm not got my university hat on at uni. I've got my hat on to support these coaches. So yeah, and to me it's just around getting experience, getting a feel for the environment. It might not be like you think it is. I worked in the boys game for 2 years full time, and it looks pretty, but it probably wasn't for me. Not to say it wouldn't be for somebody else, but it wasn't for me. But I experienced it, come away and knowing what I don't want. So yeah, there's definitely opportunities. We run mentee programs to work alongside coaches. So that would be an opportunity for students to do that.
That's perfect. I mean, I've actually got a question in, so thank you very much. The question is, what was it like to move to America or moving away generally? So I guess that first part, what was it like for you, Abbie, to move to America after living here for so long?
Yeah, so I was supposed to be there for 6 weeks and I stayed for 3 months. So I was meant to go out for the summer. and just do your general like camp. So I went across and worked for a company called Play Soccer. So I just left college, so I was 18, and I would spend 1 week with one family, and then on the Sunday we'd leave and we'd go to another family. So I could be with one family whose beliefs and they were like X, and then go to another family who are completely different. And for me, probably a little bit like what Becky's explained around like moving to England, just really developed my social skills. It was daunting. I remember when I first turned up, I was scared. I remember turning up to the airport and you met people on Facebook, I think at the time, and oh, you're going, okay, they put you in touch. And when you turn up to the airport, you're kind of going, are you Jack? Yeah, you're okay. So you've got a long plane journey, so you start to feel comfortable the more you speak to people. But once you're there, you've got to remember that the majority of the people are all in the same position. So everybody's probably feeling a bit like you, but at that time you think it's only you feeling like that. But for me, it just really developed my social skills and understanding that not everybody's the same, and that's okay, and everyone's slightly different. And probably a little bit same with uni, when people come and everyone's different and everyone feels they can kind of be themselves a little bit more. But yeah, for me it was daunting, but as soon as you're there, you give it a couple of days, you get to know a couple of people, and you feel relaxed. But it was probably, again, one of my biggest learnings. Did I become a really good coach for being out there for 3 or 4 months? Probably not. But was I able to come back and have a bit more confidence in new situations? Definitely. And it's something I would encourage people to do at some point, whether that's America or whether that's university or whether that's going and working on a camp somewhere else for a week. And yeah.
That's perfect, thank you. Something I never did, and I wish I did. I was in the same boat. I almost did it after college. But yeah, if anyone's thinking about that and want to know more, please do just email myself, and I can pass questions straight on to Abbie. And I guess Becky, in a similar position, it says obviously moving away. You mentioned in that one of your talks there that you went to university, quite daunting. Obviously not loads of time, but I guess in a short couple of sentences or so, what was that like, just moving into, like, say, Hall's residence or whatever situation you had?
Like Abbie said, just you think you're the only one that feels that way. In reality, everyone's just moved away from their home. Scary is probably how you would describe it for the first day. And then you meet everyone and you realise that this is going to be what your life is going to be like. Some people don't enjoy halls. I loved it. I found my best friend was on the football team. She lived next door. We're still best friends now, despite her moving away. So like, it's just friends for life. And as scary as it is going to be for the first week, 2 weeks, whatever it is, as soon as you settle in and you can feel yourself comfortable, and that's when all the great stuff happens.
Perfect. I can only relate. I went to university as well and experienced all those things, so that's brilliant to hear. Well, fantastic. Thank you for that question. That sparked some really good stuff. We will leave sort of the questions for there. I've got a few bits to share now, but before I share those, virtually, whether you're clapping hands in your classroom or just internally, saying thank you to these two for joining us today. Really good stuff. Really insightful things around the Gloucester University and what you can get from Women's High Performance Centre. Again, it's another little thing, as well as a sort of a degree that can enhance your experience. Really, really good stuff there. So I know that Abbie is currently at St George's Park today doing some work, because as plush as that sounds, not so much for me, I'm sat at home, but she's got to shoot off in a minute, so she disappears, no problem. If Becky wants to stick around for a minute or two, in case any questions come in, that'll be brilliant. But just before we do leave this talk, before the others start today, I just want to very quickly share with you a few promotional bits to further any experiences you guys have. For example, if there's any year 12s on this call today, either in college or home, wherever you might be, we do have this year our year 12 summer residential re-happening. Obviously, it was online last year because of COVID, but due to things open up again, we can get it back on campus. So this is essentially happening in July, and it's a chance for you to live on campus over 3 nights, 4 days on one of our university campuses, and a really experienced university. So if those bits that Becky spoke about around moving to university sound sort of exciting, but at the same time quite nerve-wracking, you can give it a go here. It's completely free. You apply via that link you can see there, or chuck in your phone in that QR code, and I'll share these after, so don't worry if you're trying to get there quick and you can't write it down or such. There's a deadline to apply, so make sure you get in nice and early. But there is a strand just for sport if that's an interest for yourself. So the year 12 summer school, you pick a strand for your sort of time with us. So that could be sport, it could be media. There's a bunch of other strands available you'll see on the application form. So it can really give you a really good insight into that subject at university, and also living at university, meeting brand new people. So it really replicates what that could be like one day. So if it is a big interest to yours, please do apply. Or any questions at the bottom, you can see the outreach email address. Chuck us an email, ask any questions you do have. And lastly, we mentioned that question to Becky about how can you know more about university? How can you sort of make those decisions? Get yourself to some open days. These are the dates we have this year happening sort of fairly soon. These are completely free again. Hopefully you guys are quite locally where you tuned in from. It's a Saturday, a Sunday, so hopefully you're available. Just come on down, speak to lecturers, speak to people like Abbie, myself maybe, see the accommodation, see the facility, just get a real good feel for it. And that is, as Becky said, I completely agree, the best way to know if university is right for you is going to those universities, asking questions, just getting a general feel for it. And if you want to ask any questions to other students, there's that talk to us link I'll share again after, and that gives you access to like a Facebook Messenger, ask any questions to any students on different courses, different areas, so you can get a real good insight into their studies. Other than that, I will stick around for a minute or two if you guys do have any questions. But finally, thank you very much again for joining us this morning. I hope you enjoyed this talk and hopefully you're joining us for some others after this. But you are free to go, but thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day.